having issues with my upper range, and it turns out I have some superior laryngeal nerve damage. So
Diagnosed by how?
an ENT.
How?
So I had a laryngeal EMG,
Okay.
and they found a 75% recruitment response for my right cricothyroid.
Got it. Okay.
So
And that was the damaged aspect of it, right?
Mhm.
Got it. Okay.
And so I have secondary muscle tension dysphonia.
Okay.
And just a lot of like fatigue with singing, some pain with singing. I ended up stopping performing, partially because I could make more money as a speech pathologist. But a lot of it was just the demands on my voice. I felt like I was having to push in a way that wasn't really healthy to meet the demands of the job, and I wanted to have my voice for a really long time.
Got
and
it.
Didn't really want to push that way.
So to this day, even though you don't sing regularly, can you still feel the problem?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it only when you sing, or can you feel it when you talk?
I can feel it when I talk.
Can you feel it at rest?
Yes.
And what do you feel?
I feel some globus. I feel just a like tightness on my right side. At the end of the day, with my speaking voice, I'm usually fatigued. I get home and like I don't really want to talk to my family because I've been around people all day, but also because and I'm an introvert, but also because my voice is just tired.
And when your voice feels tired, where is it? Where do you feel that fatigue?
I usually feel it like right in here.
Is it palpable ever at the end of the day?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, and you're coming literally right at midline, right?
Mhm.
And when you press, is it when you press on it, you can replicate it right now? Or when you
Mhm.
move it around? What do you need to do to remind yourself that, oh yeah, there it is?
Like this.
Now, if you can't see what she's doing and you're over here, she's kind of moving in that space that we're going to be moving right now. Maitland's first question, where do I start? She's giving me an indication. She's moving a little higher. By the way, when we do the demo, I'm going to turn her so she's facing more that way instead of this way. But if you can't see, please come up, all right? What do you want to ask her? I have tons of questions, but what do you want to know?
Yes.
For the singing perspective, is it a certain part in your range
Mm-hmm.
that is difficult?
Yeah,
part
my
of it?
upper range.
If you went there right now, would you be able to replicate it?
Yeah.
Can you?
Sure.
Go.
Okay.
What did you feel?
I feel like a tightness, and like I'm having to crunch up everything else to get the sound out clearly.
Okay, do me a favor, do that exact same thing and feel that crunch
Uh-huh.
again.
Okay.
Because I want it to be fresh.
Sure.
You felt it,
Mhm.
right? It's hard sometimes with singers or speakers or whatever to sort of separate them from the sound of the problem to the feeling of the problem. But that's what that's what I try and do. What does that feel like? What does it feel like? You said scrunched up?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I have to get more tension in my tongue to kind of compensate.
Got it.
And then I'll practice in front of a mirror and tell my tongue to chill. But then it feels like I don't have control over it,
Mhm.
over the sound. I have control over the sound when I get my tongue involved.
Got it. When we did tongue work
Mhm.
so far, has anybody connected with any of that feeling?
Oh, yeah.
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 And that's where I would go
Pressing
back.
down.
Yeah, that's where I'd go
Mhm.
back to. You
Mhm.
could try it on yourself. Why not, right?
Mhm.
But the whole resistance, it's not the same when you resist your own movement versus when someone else does, right? So what I want to do here, Katie, is I want to see if I can connect you to some of that scrunched upness,
Mhm.
okay? Or some of the other sensations that you may not have put into words, but you'll be able to feel,
Mhm.
okay? So where you just went there twice with your voice, is that a decent benchmark for you?
Mhm.
Does that represent some of, I'm going to put words in here, does that represent some of your frustration with singing or not singing anymore?
Yes.
Okay. What I want to do is see if we can bring you into connection with that feeling. Would that feel safe?
Mhm.
Okay, good. I didn't do much demoing here with my skeleton because we don't have access to the video, but some of the other videos I use this to demonstrate on. But I keep these sorts of models. I have a couple different ones like this in my office, and I'll show Katie where I want to go. Now this looks, they nod and they say, okay, I get it, but you know what? Where am I in all that, right? Where's the SCM? I don't use the SCM words with most patients, but I will then demonstrate exactly how you did to yourself. I'll say I want to get behind this major strap muscle here. I want to come behind it and gently insinuate my fingers on the front of your spine between the front of the spine and the back of the larynx like that. If you could picture this, it's almost like you're trying to squeeze off the esophagus, which hopefully you're not, right? But that's the mental picture of where fingers are heading. Do you have any questions on that?
I don't.
I need your feedback. I need you to tell me if you feel, for instance, lightheaded, or there's pain that you don't recognize, you don't like, or any other feelings, good and bad. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you, let's move this so you're a little bit more right in front of Caitlin, like that. Yeah, like that. There we go. Okay, so relax. Check the pulses first. Let's feel self-conscious with this because I'm not a good finder. I'm going to be blunt, right? Takes me, there it is, right there. And she's about that, the norm, right? The norm of what we find, about at 45 degrees. So if they're not out here at the surface, they're deeper, right? But I know that when I start this work, I want to start well posterior to that.
The light is shining right at you if you want to move a little bit.
I can do that, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
thanks.
bring you over here. And is that better?
Much better.
Okay, got it. I want to come well behind there, but I also want to be mindful of the sternocleidomastoids themselves. I want to come in behind them like that. And I'm doing step one right now. Step one is lifting the SCM. Step two is finding the ledge, all right? What's not noted as much in your syllabus, and it will be with the new rewrite that I'm going to be doing, is once I find the ledge, just like I had you do with yourself, I don't know where on that ledge I am. I feel a bone, but I have no idea spatially where I am. Am I out to the edges or close to midline? So I'm going to purposely trace the contours of that bone for a bit. And I was literally ready to fall right off. So this time when I come back on, I want to come back in toward midline a little bit more. And on some patients, you will feel thyroid cartilage. Other patients you won't. But as you move into midline, keeping your pressures fairly light until the tissue tension begins to slow and stop you. Once you hit that stopping point, your goal is not to push harder. My goal is to stay right there and see. So there's your thyroid cartilage right there. Do you feel me moving that?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you have them put their finger on their thyroid notch, they'll feel movement, or you will feel movement. Whether it's me coming in with this and then scooping forward, or me doing lateralizations. I'm trying to express this work in gentle terms. I'm going to get into treatment zone for a second, if I may, and find your thyroid cartilage. So right there, that feels a little bit gnarly right in here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that relatable in any way?
Yes.
Okay. Over time, you'll start to trust what you feel. Don't overtrust it, because I'm not feeling her pathology. But I feel a chicken McNugget that when I press on it is relatable. Her part, not just on my part, but boy, oh boy, that feels real webby right there. I want to attend to you for a moment.
Okay.
Is this part of that feeling you get
Yes.
when you go in that scrunched up feeling?
Yes.
Got it. I feel like right now I'm in treatment zone. For me, 0 to 10, how aggressive does this feel?
1.
A 1. Does it feel like it's enough?
No.
No, would you like me to push harder?
Yes.
Because I was at a 3. My own internal barometer said 3. I'm thinking, I'm moving into zones that I wouldn't like, but I'm not another person, right? You mean right there? No.
A little higher.
A little higher. Can you bring your hand up and show me?
Mm-hmm.
So all she did was shift in me a millimeter to upward. What I really like is when they literally lift my hand up and move it to a different spot. It just proves to me I can never know what another person is feeling, but if they help me, we can try and figure this out. So right now, does it feel like we're having a therapeutic effect?
Yes.
Do you want me to do something differently, or do you want me to hold this?
Maybe a little more pressure.
You're more pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, we could spend time in passive. How's that better?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like we're doing something?
Yes.
Yeah. Or I could get her to go, can you go back into that spot, that range?
Mhm.
Can you go ahead and sing?
Was du mir bist, der Ausblick in ein schönes Land.
What'd you feel?
Like a release that I used to have when I was singing, but
Got it. What
Yeah.
about what I did up there? Did that feel useful?
Mhm.
Because what I felt was when she started to sing, I didn't feel this until she started to sing. It's like the right side of the hyoid was being pulled backward. So with my index, even though that's not where she sent me, I kind of put it in behind the hyoid a bit and held some space there. I have no idea if that was useful or not, but that's why I go back and we get feedback at this point, right?
Yeah, it's very
What you're
therapeutic.
not seeing is
Can
the
I give-
emotional response,
Yeah.
or a lot of emotion on her face.
Yeah.
Was du mir bist, der Ausblick in ein schönes Land.
Was that good?
Yeah.
As she sings, I mean, you know this. Larynx is rising. It's all sorts of movement. As that happens, I'm paying attention to what do I feel, and if I can find an opportunity to say, "Oh, what about that little bugger there?" I'll sneak my way in. If it has usefulness, I hope I get a thumbs up. Maybe it's just I'm pressing on things that have no meaning. Can you see shared decision making going back and forth? I'm taking chances. I'm pressing on things, and then she's reaching up and correcting me or validating what I'm doing. We're working as a team here instead of me just doing all the work. Let me just, because see, the other thing we can do with this, and I said start middle finger around C5, which is about the average level of the thyroid notch. But I certainly can move way up higher and access that whole suprahyoid region, that submental region right there. Or we could drop down way low. And here's where I think we have the possibility of affecting, if you want to think mechanistic, more of that cricothyroid function of pitch, right? You've got a lot of work area to work in here. Is there anything you want to share about that?
Well, the emotion aspect of it, so I had a voice teacher my freshman year of college who said to me, I was having difficulty connecting with what she was asking me to do because my voice is so abstract. And she said to me, every time I tell you to do something, you do the complete opposite intentionally. And I've carried that with me. Like, I mean, I avoided it when I became a speech pathologist. I didn't want to do voice because I knew that my emotional baggage was like too much. And then I realized how much I loved it and came back to it. But that, you know, it was actually a medical problem. And that just being able to feel that release was like,
Yeah.
that's it. That's what I've been trying to get back for probably, I don't know, 20 years.
Got it. Now, you and I can't walk around together, me holding there every
No.
time you want to sing, right? So go ahead and try that again. That short bit passage where you try and go there. Okay.
Was du mir bist, der Ausblick in ein schönes Land.
What do you feel?
I felt that release again.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things at the
Let's-